The production of honey in Africa presents an enormous opportunity. The success of the African honey market has, however, been held back by difficulties in getting consistent honey quality and quantities. This is caused by limited knowledge among beekeepers about modern honey farming methods, difficulties in accessing high-quality equipment and the capital, as well as generally poor infrastructure and facilities. Rural Development Organization, and RDO, is an NGO founded in 2012 with the mission of facilitating sustainable development in the rural areas of the Southern Highlands of Tanzania.
My name is Fidelis Emilio Filipatari, Director of Rural Development Organization in Tanzania, and a farmer of beekeeping. As RDO, we are really in a remote where the community really needed to be uplifted for the development. Only the ideally in us in the remote area that we are looking things in a very local way. So, I example myself, my experience is now almost 25 years. I learned this from my parents. My father, we were growing, having bee boxes, but in the local way.
My name is Jad Kalinga. I'm working with RDO and agriculture, animal husbandry, beekeeping, and fish ponding. I'm here to introduce this beekeeping project, and I want to give you a brief history. I have been a beekeeper from 2017, and I started with RDO from 2018. My expertise is on agriculture in general. I took my first degree from Sokoine University of Agriculture. By the previous time, RDO and the people around the site of Mbrabulo, they was using a different type of beehives of which they was using. The following are the generation. The first generation, we was using a clay pot. The second generation was using a log. The third generation, we was using a Cajun top bar. And now we are using this one, it is called a Langstroth. From those generation, as we move with technology, we harvest a lot of benefit. One among the benefit of which the people around the society of RDO, they benefit from this beekeeping, bee industry, is income generation.
In cooperation with the IEEE Smart Village and Crossing Borders, the project Honey Farming Hub was launched with the aim of establishing a center of excellence in honey production at RDO in Tanzania. It is part of a larger program for providing electricity to the communities with honey-generating income to help sustain it. During phase 1 of the Honey Farming Hub project, we did an on-site training with external beekeeping expert Daniel Desina Odunten. Daniel, originally from Nigeria, he's a beekeeper with 30 years of experience and author of beekeeping textbooks. 9 training participants from Tanzania were involved in the training, which contained lessons in the classroom as well as practical sessions. The training participant will pass on the knowledge from the training to other beekeepers. During the training at RDO, Daniel presented various modern beekeeping equipment to the training participants.
To use hand to remove it, it will be difficult. This is what I call a frame grip. After you have loosened both ends, used to bring it out conveniently. You will not clip bees, you will not disturb them. When we feed this plate with sugar, the bees can come from both sides and eat. And this is for toba. Okay. So it doesn't matter whether you don't use Langstroth. If you can afford Kenya, toba, use it. What matter? Give them good management. So when we prepare the sugar, we will feel it. I've explained this to you. When you use this, you use this wider one in the sunny time, in the not winter, in the dry season here, when they are active. At that time, the bees will occupy the whole area to defend their colony. In the cold, when there's no food, they're all inside, warming together. There's no more activities at the entrance. That's when you use this. If you don't change this, some fly can come in to steal their honey. So you need to go with this, measure the standard one. What you need to do, use this one as standard one. Use your initiative to make the base. You understand? Even this one, okay, this one is okay. This size for the base, take away this. This one, I think, is okay. Because, okay, let's look at this. There must be space under. You see, look my hand. There must be space under. That's a big space. So bees can move around under here. So when you want to make the base, you have to be conscious of this one here. So that when you make on top, the bottom will be free for bees to move around. Not like this one, that everything just sit down on it. It's not good. So the failure started from the kind of tools you use. If you don't make the good tools, the bee will not do well.
The correct measurements of the beehives is of special importance. If the so-called bee space is not considered correctly, the combs will be built incorrectly, which will make it difficult for the beekeeper to work with the hive. The carpenters of the RDO Vocational Training Center were instructed on the correct ways on how to construct beehives.
Here, you will put things like this, like a landing. Something like it, and you want to carry it, put it here. Down here, it's a little bit out. So when the bees are coming, they stand on it. Here you will make hole.
Daniel also highlighted the importance of using a smoker to calm the bees down when inspecting the hives.
So there's no way you will go close to kind of colony without smoker. Even when you wear 10 bee suits, it can't solve the problem. The work of suit is different from work of smoker. You must have a smoker. Like this one, you need to puff a lot of smoke to them, even before you open it, to calm them down.
Daniel explained the life cycle of the bees' colonies and possibilities to support and to manipulate them in order to maximize honey yields. During hive inspections, the beekeeper can investigate the condition of the colony and the progress of their work. The beekeeper is supposed to check for the space available inside the beehive, the presence of brood cells and swarm cells, and for whether honey is ripe for harvesting.
When it's full down, I move up, create space down, put empty frame there, because we have put queen excluder. We don't want queen to come up. And the work of queen is to be laying egg. So there'll be space for queen. The problem with your colony at the office there, the first one you did, they swarm. Yes. Because there's no space. Look at it, this is the brood. Let me show you properly. You can see, this is the brood. It's different from honey. You can see this is a good queen. You can see the patterns. If you want to graft, let's say we want to breed, we breed from this kind of, because the good queen, look at good pattern. So you have to be careful. I want to see if I can see the queen. Now this is swarm cell. Can you take it there? This is a swarm cell. Just hold the frame gently. That's a swarm cell. When you see things like this, let me check if you can see.
Yes.
Let other people see. Honey, can you see honey? It's not yet covered. It's not yet ripe. Do you see a difference on what I've said with the material we use? The material still lasts, unlike wood shaving. So, these are things you need to look for. When you see honey like this, don't harvest until it is covered, both sides.
While the colony is still of reasonable size, the queen bee can be identified and marked. Based on the information obtained from inspecting the beehive, the beekeeper can decide on which actions to take.
This is honey. Can you see it?
Yeah. Yes.
This is indication that it's ripe.
Yes, it's ready. Yes,
It's ready to. You can see the honey flowing here because it's. So this thing, all this one, you need to let it be like this before you harvest it. Okay? So, and you can see the wire. They do the thing through the wire.
Yes.
When you put in an extractor, it cannot break.
Possible actions include harvesting of honey or other bee products, creating space for the bees to prevent them from swarming, or limiting their space to manipulate them into creating swarm cells for the purpose of queen bee rearing.
Cut those swarm cells out neatly. Don't affect the queen inside. When you cut them out, all you need to do, those swarm cells you cut out, put it here, attach it to the comb. Bring it here. Each of these things will contain 2 frames. And another important thing, when you do that, what you need to put here is brood. Or the brood, they will grow out to become bees. So when the queen is out, it is only younger bees attend to the queen.
Daniel provided us with instructions on how to assess potential beekeeping locations for their suitability for keeping bees and producing honey. The main factors to determine the quality of a beekeeping site are the availability of crops and flowers that the bees can use for pollination, the availability throughout the year, as well as the availability of a water source.
And what it helped us to understand, because of the normal going there and checking there. What was happened, we found her on the end of July. The end of July. All people who tried to
There's a question I want to ask.
Yes. What do you want to know?
Okay.
How can we go with climate change?
Okay.
And how can we make a timetable, or how can we be familiar of climatic change and what is going on?
The southern highlands of Tanzania are characterized by a lengthy rainy season, which is followed by a lengthy dry season. During the dry season, a cold period causes bees to go into a brief hibernation.
Now that I understand, I can know what to tell you to do.
Yes.
Now that in the rainy season, air,
Yes.
the temperature high,
Yes.
the flower blossom,
Yes.
the bees are busy.
Very soon.
That is your reproductive season.
Okay.
When you want to reproduce more queens, when you want to expand your apiary, that's the time you can do it.
Okay.
But during the time it's cold, getting 3 degrees, that's the time you need to feed them with sugar, or they don't go out.
Okay.
That tells you what you know you need to do.
We identified swamp areas in the region where crops can grow throughout the year as highly suitable for beekeeping. In one of our training sessions with Daniel, we developed a beekeeping calendar for RDO main project sites, taking into consideration the flowering and weather season throughout the year. We sketched the information about the responsibilities of the beekeeper for each of the seasons.
So now from June, it's experiencing winter and cold.
Cool.
Yeah.
From June,
July, mpaka mwezi gani?
Mwezi wa sita mpaka mwezi wa saba.
Mpaka wa saba.
Na baridi. Alafu
Yes.
baada ya hapo baridi inakata, unaendelea upepo mpaka mwezi wa kumi.
Yes.
so cold season from June to when?
Cold season from June to July.
June, July.
Then August,
Again, it dry
again
season.
the sun is moving.
You know, as I've said, the same principle applicable to all regions. All you need just to know what happened at this time. You see, bees and plants, they are twins that they work together. Bees rely on flowers to make the store, and the plants rely on bees for pollination services to get. So, whether you are a farmer or you know a farmer friend, you have to be the best friend to work together.
We really appreciate Smart Village through Mr. Daniel, who visited us very recent, that now has opened us as a farmers around us to really go in a modern way how to keep, how to farm beekeeping.
This project, since it was starting, it helps indeed on the protection of environment from destruction. And I can say that all people around Mdabulo, they are very happy to gain this technology. And I remember the time we made a concert, we made a seminar with Mr. Daniel. The people, they really enjoyed. Mr. Daniel introduced his technology of which we can use. He introduced this one we call Langstrom, and he introduced about the simplicity of the technology on beekeeping, general infrastructure to simplify this beekeeping project. Also, Mr. Daniel, he taught it, he bring knowledge on on queen breeding to solve the problem. Some of the hives, they are not occupied, but by using his technology of queen breeding, now we expect to have a full of bees in all hives. I can say thank you and welcome.
One of the swarm catching boxes for the Langstroth hive. It was placed here on the 15th of January, and until last week we came here to check, and actually my colleague came here to check, and the bees were still not allowed. So this week we have bees inside, which is a good thing. So we're waiting for like a 1 week or 2 weeks to come and check again, and if they started building already the combs, we don't want it to get too strong because we want to mark the queen in the process. So this is one of the advantages of having these swarm catching boxes, and we're really grateful that Daniel introduced this to us. So now it's gonna be very helpful because we all just need to move the 5 frames to the standard hives and mark the queen in the process. So this is really a good start, and we're really proud. We're really proud of this start. So it's a good beginning, and I think we're going to get a lot of colonies using this method instead of just placing the hives in the bee house and waiting for them to go in. So this is going to be very useful. As part of our discussions with Daniel, we reviewed the plan for the RDO honey production business. RDO is going to invest into beekeeping equipment and beehives, which will then be installed at the farms of the organization. RDO is also providing existing facilities for storage, vehicles, and administration of these operations. The RDO Vocation Training Center Carpentry Department allows us to produce high-quality beehives at a low cost. We will target the Tanzanian local honey market as well as its wholesale market, and we will explore options to brand our honey as a premium product and to export it internationally. Part of the income of the business will go toward operation of the electricity business that will be established under the Rural Electrification and Education Program with the IEEE Smart Village and Crossing Borders. Besides honey, RDO is also going to continue exploring the market potential of other bee products. We also have the intention to establishing a beekeeping training course at RDO. That way we can reach further beekeeping communities with knowledge on modern beekeeping.